Good evening and welcome to the fourth episode of the Planette cover. Alright, so we already know what Jillian's up to and what's going on with her, but we about to get into some deeper mess about what's actually going on with Jillian. Okay, they are on a mission to find the culprit. So, let's move on and we'll go ahead and watch this together. I'll see y'all on the other side. Introduction to the Planette. The Planette, a place for women, where women share ideas, where women contribute to a feminine society and community, educate one another, relate to one another. On June 1st, 1961, 34-year-old Ruby Severs was walking home from work one evening after finishing her shift at her job when she was encountered by a strange man. Ruby's husband did not come to pick her up because he was passed out intoxicated on the sofa at home, so she braved the 6 blocks to her house alone. She realized the man following her meant harm, so she began running. The street was quiet, and there was no one around to help her. She rounded the corner and found a door that led to an old warehouse and hurried inside, securing the door behind her. She was frightened and confused. She could only whisper the right words. Help me. Please help me, somebody. After those words, she closed her eyes. When she opened them, she was in a strange place, another world she had never seen before. She saw a beautiful beach with clean water and white sand. The waves of the sea crashed, having a calming effect on her soul. The skies were blue, the bluest she had ever seen. There was no one else in sight as she looked around and discovered there were many resources which she later used to build up the place, to make it more inhabitable, to make it a home. Oh, she was excited. Ruby returned to Earth shortly afterward and told her husband about the beautiful place she had been. But he did not believe her. Instead, he had her committed to an asylum. But she escaped, and she made her way back to the warehouse with hospital staff chasing her. She uttered those words, "Somebody help me." Yes, somebody help me. Instantly, she was transferred back to the planet she discovered. Later, Ruby returned to Earth and told her 27-year-old friend Jackie about the planet, and they returned together and began building a home they now call the Planette. Welcome to the Planette, where women rule, where girls learn, where there are no men. Episode 4, Scene 1. Ruby cheered for her team as she watched the high school girls engage in a game of ground ball. Ground ball was a sport a few girls had created in the 1990s, which entailed tossing a ball across the field to a team member which that team member would toss to another. Meanwhile, the opposing team is positioned between the team who has the ball and attempts to interfere with the pass. If the defending team can pass the ball to 6 team members, they win 8 points. Each team consisted of 10 members and 5 second string. The students who invented the game were now teachers themselves. Shamira, the other scientist, entered the stadium. She did not typically attend games, but she was on a mission. Something she discovered in her findings alarmed her. She carefully descended the steps until she found Ruby sitting in the second row from the field. The boss lady usually dressed impeccably, but today she donned a baseball cap with her team's logo on it, a pair of jeans, and a jersey with her favorite team member's number, 12. She clapped and cheered when her team scored again. Other than these types of games, the women and girls did not compete. Ruby, Shamira said as she approached her. Ruby looked up and said, "Hey Shamira, what's new? Tell me it's a new breakthrough on conditioner." She asked. Shamira also created hair products from natural resources with Renee. I wish that was all Ruby. She noticed the older woman's facial expression grow dim. What did you find? There's testosterone on the planet. The rook tree's bark confirmed it. Ruby went into deep thought, her facial expression showing. Let me know how you want to proceed, Ruby, Shamira said, touching her on the shoulder before leaving. Ruby was worried. How could there be testosterone on the planet? Everyone was a woman. She would have to get everyone blood tested. She turned back to the game. By then, her team had pulled 24 points ahead of the opposing team. That was at least some good news. Episode 4, Scene 2. Asher was getting dressed when he realized he was growing facial hair. He called his mother to the bathroom. What is it, Ash? What happened? Jillian was quite alarmed. Liz hurried into her brother's room. Mom, I'm growing a beard. It's like it's happening overnight. Asher was only 13 by this point. It was not typical for boys on planet Earth to grow facial hair that quickly. In addition to that, he'd grown almost 3 inches since his birthday a couple of months ago. Jillian nearly panicked. Okay. Just think. We can fix this. How, Mom? How? There is no shaving cream on the planet. Or haven't you noticed there is nothing up here for males? I have a small razor that I use for my legs, Jillian said as she hurried to her room. But Asher was not having it. He took off the dress he was wearing and tossed it on the floor, only wearing his shorts. Liz headed to her mother's room. Mom, what are you doing? It's no use. Yes, we have to try, Liz. We have to try. Jillian spoke as she tried to get around her daughter, who blocked the doorway. No, Mom, no. He's aging quickly. Can't you see that? No, he's not. This is just... Yes, he is, Mother. What's happening is yes, that he is, Mother. This time next year, he will be looking like he's 21. We learned in school how males age 7 years for every year. It's like dog years or something, Mom. You won't be able to hide it soon. Let him go back to Earth and live with Auntie. If he stays here, he will be dead in 10 years, Mother. Can't you see that? Jillian started crying, sitting on the side of the bed. Liz caressed her mother's hair. It's gonna be fine, Mom. He's lived there before. Just give me some more time, please. I just need more time with my son. But Mom, you have to stop thinking about yourself. It isn't like you cannot visit him. He needs to be back on Earth, Mom. But he's only 13. I know, but he's still a child. I'll be fine if I go back, Mom. Jillian looked up. He stood at the entrance of her bedroom. It was at that moment she noticed his height. He was looking more and more like his father. Episode 4, Scene 3. Ruby headed to the aerospace engineering lab after the game. She punched in the code and the gate slid open. There were shuttles and large space vehicles in the yard Jackie and her team had designed and engineered. She hopped out of her buggy and headed to the office where Jackie sat behind a large desk designing a new defense weapon. What do we have here, Jax? I don't know what to name it yet. Jackie then gave her friend a quick once-over and said, "You're looking mighty spiffy today." But Ruby, however, was still in casual clothing, which was rare. That was the smart comment that came from Jackie was about. I haven't been home yet. How about dinner tonight? Well, at your place, because I haven't cooked anything all week. Of course. We'll have a couple of other girls over. That sounds great. So, what is this designed to do? Ruby asked, turning her attention back to the sketch Jackie was working on. Well, this one is designed to ward off enemies from 1.7 million miles away. But it doesn't kill. You already know, Ruby. At least permanently maim or disable. Ruby. You got a little male in you, Ruby. You think? Just a tiny, weeny little bit. Jackie said while studying the defense missile draft she was doing. Now, Jackie Payton, don't you know that protecting is strictly a feminine trait? Besides, there are too many predators out in space to be caught sleeping. Yeah, especially those on Earth. Jackie said as she stood and grabbed another drafting pen. The year they landed on the moon, we were almost discovered. I'll never forget that year. 1969. Ruby and Jackie had discovered the Planette in 1961. Yeah, I do remember. It was so gloomy and it rained for weeks. That year we were losing all kinds of crops. Didn't know that going to the moon would affect our solar system, though. Yes, and back then there were only 800 of us. Good thing they didn't realize there was life on the planet. We didn't have the weapons we have now to fight back with. Aren't you proud, Ruby? And you should be proud too, Jackie. We have 200,000 women here now. And remember, when the first baby was born up here? Do I? I had to deliver her. And we didn't have Dr. Fatima and her team back then. Wow, those were the days, Ruby said with a faraway look in her eyes. Ruby. Yes. What's wrong? Her friend knew her all too well. Ruby sighed and said, "There's another matter we need to deal with." What? Another girl fight? There is someone here with testosterone. What? Well, some of our girls do have a little more than others, especially when they're young. No. I wish it were that simple. No? What then? There is a male here, hiding as a female. What are we going to do? Hunt him down and string him up by his testicles. Well, that's a nice little fantasy, Ruby, and I'm sure that you would get much pleasure from it. I would. Nice fantasy, though. We'll just have everyone blood tested. And OBGYN? No. I don't want to give away the reason. If there's a male here, the person just might become violent at the thought of being found out. We know how males can be. We should never forget that. Well, I'm with you, girl. Anyway, I have to get over to the medical center and speak with Dr. Fatima to get her team ready. Okay, then. I'll see you tonight. You bet you will, sister, Ruby said, and then she pranced out of the room in her sneakers. No matter what type of shoes Ruby wore, she had a strut to kill for. Episode 4, Scene 4. One more push, honey. Come on, one more time, honey. Come on, Gina. Come on. Dr. Fatima coached. Gina pushed one last time until she heard the cries of her child. Oh, isn't she beautiful? Dr. Fatima said as she held the baby in her arms. Gina smiled and said, "Is it still a girl?" It's always been a girl. You did so good, Gina. Here, you want to hold her? Dr. Fatima said with a smile as she handed her over to the nurse who took her to the station to clean and weigh her. Fatima headed into the hallway shortly after while her team prepared the new mother for her recovery. Ruby stood once she spotted Fatima headed her way. Hi, Ruby. What's up? How's everything going, Dr. Fatima? Oh, not too hectic. I just delivered Gina's baby. Well, congratulations for about the 100th time. Did we have a shower for Gina? I don't really think so. How about next weekend? My backyard. Well, that sounds great. So what's going on? What made you show up today? I know you ain't just out and about. Well, actually, I am going to need your team to send out a notification for testosterone blood testing, but do not alert them as to why. Dr. Fatima knew what Ruby was talking about, as everyone on Planette was aware of how the environment had been different, with too much misting overnight and clouds during the night, causing too much humidity and more days during the week overcast. Well, sure, Ruby, we'll get right on it, okay? Oh, thank you so much, Doctor. Ruby hugged the doctor and headed down the hallway. She got into her vehicle and headed over to the dress shop to pick up something for her dinner with the girls that night. Episode 4, Scene 5. Jillian checked her mail 2 weeks later and found a notice from the administrators of health with the medical center's address on it, requesting the blood tests of everyone in the household. She grew nervous, wondering what it was about. She headed back into the house and read the entire notice. "Mom, what's that?" Liz asked. During the 2 weeks since her son had told her he wanted to return to Earth, she still had not moved on getting him back to Earth. Oh, a notice to have everyone blood tested in here. Blood tested for what? Well, it doesn't say. It's not like they do transfusions up here or anything. In fact, everyone's health is in pretty good condition here. We don't have pollution and wars up here like they do down on Earth. What do we need blood tests for? Well, all of that is a good thing, Liz. And that's the very reason I need Asher to stay up here with us. Mom, you can't. Maybe they'll have Maybe they will have a breakthrough, honey. Maybe they'll find a way to have males here without them being adversely affected or something. Mom, you are delusional. You need to be realistic about this. What makes you say that? Because you're looking at things the way you want to look at them instead of the way they are. Episode 4, Scene 6. Jillian nervously approached the front desk. This was the day for her family to be blood tested. Last name, please. The woman at the front desk asked as she pulled up the information on her computer. Caraway. Testing for 3. The woman said, yes. Jillian could not determine why everyone needed to be blood tested until she pulled up the information on her daughter's laptop where Liz had been studying the planet's relationship with female beings. One of the sections addressed how a person's gender could be determined through a blood test. Okay, you all are going one at a time, the nurse said as the family approached the room. She sent her son into the room first, and the nurse had him sit down to draw his blood. Make a fist for me, please. The nurse ordered. He made a fist, and Jillian heard the nurse say, you have some thick veins. Most girls your age need the butterfly needle. She drew his blood, removed the syringe, and placed a Band-Aid on his arm. Jillian was the last to go in. Once the nurse finished taking her blood, she thanked her. Then suddenly there was a crash in the hallway. The nurse rushed out to see what was going on. Hold on, Miss Caraway, the woman said as she rushed out, only to discover that the young girl pulling the cart full of supplies had run into the wall as she bent the corner. The nurse helped the girl pick up the items from the floor. Jillian realized the nurse was so occupied that she used that as an opportunity to remove the label from her son's blood vial and place it on the vial the nurse had just taken from her. She placed her son's blood vial in her pocket. It was not until that evening that Jillian got a phone call. Hello? Hi. Miss Caraway? Yes, this is Shay. This is Vicky from the medical center. Oh, hi, Vicky. I think I met you this afternoon. What's wrong? Is there something I need to help you with? Yes, there is. You ladies were here earlier, but I only have a blood vial for your daughters, but I somehow cannot find yours. Do you mind returning tomorrow and submitting another sample? Would that be too much to ask? Oh, sure. I would be happy to. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's okay. Just thank you, and I'll see you in the morning, okay? Sure, ma'am. I sure would be there. Jillian hung up. She headed over to her purse, removed the vial containing her son's blood, headed to the bathroom, broke the glass vial, and poured his blood down the toilet and disposed of the broken vial. Episode 4, Scene 7. Ruby and Jackie sat in Lita's restaurant, enjoying an assortment of vegetables and citrus fruit. Jackie stirred a splash of citrus into her drink. Girl, I just love this stuff. And Lita's garden has harvested again. So thankful whatever's going on hasn't affected her crops. Ruby took a sip from her glass, carefully placed it on the table before saying, hasn't affected her crops yet. What do you mean, Ruby? If we don't find out who's running around with the wrong sex, we'll all be in a crisis. Can't Shamira and her team do something? We've never tampered with the environment, sister. And we never had to. And we don't intend to. That's what's wrong with planet Earth right now. They're tampering with the elements down there. So true. So what's the verdict? So far, over half the results have come in. So far, nobody's male. So nobody's tested positive for the level of testosterone to be determined male. So far, no. We'll find him. Why not just go the OBGYN method like I told you, Ruby? That's what will happen next. Okay then. The women continue eating with soft music playing in the background. Okay. See, they know that somebody is up there in their world that got enough testosterone in their body to be considered male. And Dr. Fatima and her team know that they ain't never ran across no woman with that much testosterone unless they are actually male. So, could it be a trans person? They wonder. Okay. So now that he's growing facial hair. See, the thing about it is with the Planette, men grow old fast. Women's aging process slows down, like way down. You know, Ruby about darn near 90 years old, and her body is acting like a 40-year-old, late 30s or whatever. She never really aged. In fact, women's ages regress. Is it because that they are not dealing with men? We will never know. Or is it because they're simply in an environment that men are not destroying, you know? So there's a lot of factors involved in why women may age, or may age faster than they otherwise would if they wasn't taking care of wifely and motherly responsibilities. Okay, I'm just saying, there are many of us who did better after divorce, or maybe even after the death of a spouse. You know what I mean? That's real talk. So tell me what y'all think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. And I will see you at episode 5. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.